Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your continued support. I want us to look at a story that has been so interesting here, especially, and it is around Mike Mbuvi Sonko. The President Uhuru Kenyatta was a chess master, and over time I kept on insisting that whatever was going on around the candidature of Mike Sonko was a deal that was hatched between Raila Odinga, President Uhuru Kenyatta, and Kalonzo Musyoka. And what Uhuru did a long shot with Mike Sonko. Mike Sonko did not have an idea. Yesterday, for the first time, in the Kenya Kwanza rally in Nyayo Stadium, Mike Sonko was coming out publicly to say the way Kalonzo Musyoka really played him, took him to Mombasa, and dumped him there. Of course, I have listened to Kalonzo talking about this and saying that Sonko crossed over to Kenya Kwanza out of anger. And of course, when Raila wins and he becomes the chief minister, he's going to accommodate Mike Sonko. So what do you think was the game plan? What exactly happened? I want us to explain, and you will see the way the fate of Mike Sonko was sealed 2 years ago. When the Chief Justice was going to Spice FM to say that once impeached, you remain impeached, I don't know what part of that statement Mike Sonko did not understand. Kalonzo Musyoka is a senior counsel, and he knew very well that constitutionally Sonko was not going to be in the ballot. But Sonko's fate was just a picky-pong, and he did not come to realize. I want you to listen to his speech in Nyayo when he was just trying to touch a little bit about this. Listen to that there.
Ni ukweli ya maneno. Ni ukweli ya maneno. Sasa ndugu yangu Kalonzo, yeye ni mjomba yangu. Sitaongea ubaya wake. Akaniweka box, akanipeleka kule Mombasani. Akaambiwa poteza huyu Sonko huko. Kufika huko tena, Kalonzo akawa ananibembeleza nipotee kwa serikali vile amepotea. Nikazama kidogo. Lakini walipoendelea na mateso, huyu muungwana mnamwona hapa, rais wa 5 wa Jamhuri ya Kenya anayengoja kuapishwa, akasema sasa hapana, this is too much. Rais wa 5 akasema this is too much Sonko, njoo pande hii tutekeleze serikali. Huyu muungwana akanifuta machozi kwa niaba yenu. Simajua mimi ndiye Sonko wa Sonko duniani, na mimi ndiye mtetezi wa wanyonge duniani. Huyu hasla wa mahasla akaniambia Sonko njoo, akanifuta machozi kwa niaba yenu na watu wa Mombasa wale walikuwa washaamua kuniweka kama gavana wa pili. Huyu muungwana tukaanza kutembea na yeye na rais wa 5 wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Mimi ningependa kusema pole kwa sababu Kalonzo ndo alinipoteza. Wewe ni mtu wa maana sana. Mwenye anakukosea wewe hajui nini anafanya. Kwa hivyo mimi leo niko Nairobi na mnaleo ile safari tulitembea pamoja. Ile mambo leo kule Mukuru kwa Njenga hawana makao. Mkifanya makosa.
What is playing out is this. When Sonko was arrested after that bad mouthing against President Uhuru Kenyatta when he spoke about Sigara Kubwa and all that, Mike Sonko was in remand. The person who brokered the release of Sonko was Kalonzo Musyoka. And when Kalonzo Musyoka went to the rescue of Sonko, I think before he left that place, there were some agreements. And the first agreement was that Mike Sonko was not going to join Kenya Kwanza That is number one. Number two, that Mike Sonko was going to relocate in Mombasa, and in Mombasa he was going to vie for the governor seat. Or rather, maybe I think the president just decided that, number one, you have to move to Mombasa and leave Nairobi politics. This is something that was there. Sonko is saying the person who lured him to leave Nairobi to go to Mombasa, the person who convinced him was Kalonzo Musyoka. And Kalonzo Musyoka, of course, was used by President Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, when he went to Mombasa, Kalonzo told Mike Sonko that instead of going for an elective seat, you rather look for an unappointive position. Maybe SEC, he will be maybe absorbed as a SEC, but I know someone who has been a governor. That's not a position someone can take in the county government. Or he could take a position, or maybe head of parastatal or something. That will be a appointing position. But of course, in the Mombasa space, he would have gone something on the pot. So these are some of the things that happened. And Sonko did not listen to Kalonzo. And what Kalonzo Musyoka decided to do is to escort Mike Sonko to his political grave. This is something that did not need magical science. Because when Sonko defied Kalonzo's advice, you remember, even if Sonko was just smart enough, you would have seen the case that was at IBC, the Dispute Resolution Committee that was at IBC, blocked Sonko. And there were some dramatic moments. The way Sonko's verdict came late, it was supposed to be released, I think, on a Friday. It was postponed to Saturday. Then it went to Sunday. But ultimately, it came Sunday in the night. Now, remember, even after IBC gave Wiper Party 72 hours for Wiper Party to field a candidate, Wiper intentionally delayed and presented Ali Mbogo outside the 72 hours ultimatum, and that candidate was blocked. So if Sonko was really smart enough, he would have realized, and I think he realized late, that President Uhuru Kenyatta, Kalonzo Musyoka, and Raila Odinga knew what they were doing in the Mombasa race. So what happened? Ali Mbogo was blocked. Sonko kept on yapping and saying that even if he's not going to be allowed, let Wiper Party be allowed to field a candidate. Before he knew, he remained the only Wiper leader agitating for Ali Mbogo to be given the nod to campaign, or rather to vie in Mombasa as a governor. Remember, this really played out so fast. And if Wiper did not have, if Wiper Party will feel aggrieved but the fact that they did not field a candidate in Mombasa, then even after that, they will not have campaigned for Nasir. Wiper Party wing in Mombasa, after Sonko crossed over to Kenya Kwanza, decided to back the ODM candidate, Abdulswamad Nasir. So that shows you that there was a deal to make sure that Sonko is not seen anywhere close to power, elective position, past this election. I want to agree with him that this was Uhuru Kenyatta's chase master. It was Uhuru Kenyatta's chase. And it played out well that Sonko did not see that coming. Remember, he even came to Kenya, came to Azimio. At one point, he was with the president and he was campaigning for Igathe and fronting Raila. But last minute, he went to Kenya Kwanza late. I want to tell you Uhuru's masterpiece with Sonko that even William Ruto did not see before. And let me say this. Sonko would have been so smart enough to realize that even William Ruto knew that he would not be on ballot. And Kalonzo was saying that if William Ruto had your interest, then Ruto would have helped you to win the ballot. Even William Ruto knew that this deep state was going to make sure that Sonko is not on ballot. And that is why when all those troubles he was going through, William Ruto was not talking to him. And I listened to his part saying that he was helped by William Ruto. He remained helpless. So what William Ruto did not give him any clearance to vie. And I don't just buy it. That he's saying that William Ruto has given him a cabinet secretary, which is an appointing position that he's going to give. Is also SEC in Mombasa and I think Nairobi. You know, who is Sonko? Is it that much popular that anaweza pewa viti under Kenya Kwanza? As in, what is he bringing on board? I really looked at that and I was laughing. I was like, wow, politicians sometimes take Kenyans for a ride. Let's look at Uhuru's masterpiece. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell and like our video. I want to still continue thanking you and reminding you about Sarah Atieno Onyango, our subscriber who is locked in Kenyatta Hospital. She's suffering acute leukemia and I've gone through all the sessions, but the bill inflated to 1 million. So I was reaching out to the fans and subscribers in this. We are doing a 50 shillings challenge, at least 50 shillings donation. If 20,000 of us can heed to that call, then my target is that we will be in a position to hand Sarah a 1 million check so that it can help cover that medical bill. Bit of it has also been covered by NHIF and that's why it has reduced to 1 million, because Sarah was in the hospital since March. You can reach out directly through my number 0710 62 78 89. It will appear Kevin Oduor. No. And you can also reach out to Sarah directly. Her number is 07 16 357 360. It will come Sarah Atieno Onyango. And Team Busia, I have a super word for you at the end of this analysis, so make sure you stick around. Uhuru wanted to reduce the influence of Mike Sonko in Nairobi because if Mike Sonko was going to remain active, whether he was to be cleared or not cleared, I want you to imagine a situation where the courts have blocked Mike Sonko from vying in Nairobi. He has many structures here. Remember, he was a county boss. He has MCAs that he still controls, that also still listen to him. He have contact with people at City Hall who are still loyal to him. And he has grassroots coordination within Nairobi. So the president wanted to curtail that network by making sure that he goes outside Nairobi, because the presence of Mike Sonko in Nairobi was going to complicate everything for Azimio la Umoja. If Sonko was here, then it's been blocked. Then imagine he's blocked and is now going to support Sakaja. That will be a done deal. But what Uhuru had seen is that for you to control Nairobi fluidly and easily, because Sonko is a popular candidate in the city here, he needed to get rid of Sonko. So as now he handles Sakaja, and remember Sonko and Sakaja were never so close, even though during the impeachment motion at Senate, Sakaja abstained from that vote. And Sonko was actually saying that Sakaja would have just shown a stand. But one thing you can see is that Uhuru Kenyatta knew that Sonko was going to support Kenya Kwanza. In Nairobi, even though that's why that decision was done last minute, I think a week to the general election. But here in Nairobi, he was going to support Kenya Kwanza candidate for governor and also going to add weight in William Ruto's Nairobi vote. Actually, it was also on Ruto's Nairobi vote because they knew that Ruto do not have many numbers in the CBD in Nairobi here, and he's struggling to get people. Remember in the last two general elections, 2013 and 2017, Mike Sonko vying as a senator and as a governor got more votes than even the presidential candidate within the Jubilee coalition. The votes of Mike Sonko in 2017 were more than those of President Uhuru Kenyatta as a president. So that shows you the number of people that Mike Sonko would convert to William Ruto. And that is something that Uhuru had seen. So Sonko's appointive job that Uhuru was then fronting, Uhuru and Kalonzo were then trying to give Sonko, was first intentionally to make him governable. Because one thing I know is if Kenya Kwanza are going to win this election, then they form government and Sonko finds his way in the government or in an elective position, maybe through a by-election somewhere, Sonko will come against President Uhuru Kenyatta and will all out abusing President Uhuru Kenyatta left, right and center. So appointive position was going to make him governable, because if you're ahead of a parastatal somewhere and there is a position that has been appointed by the president, you have to be loyal. His loyalty was going to be guided, and that is why they wanted him to go for an appointive position. But Uhuru intentionally, cleverly was setting Mike Sonko for rejection. He knew, and it was very easy that he was setting up with Kalonzo and Raila, let Sonko go to Mombasa. At the same time, the ODM candidate Nasir, despite the fact that Sonko through Wiper was still in Azimio, they were rejecting Sonko as an outsider. And that's so a move where I think Sonko went and wept in some grave allegedly for the mother. Then another gentleman came up and said that was not even where the mother was buried. That is his or rather his mother, her mother was buried. So it shows a lot of mix-up, and Sonko was set up for that massive rejection. I don't even think, and this has turned to be guided, whether even if Sonko was to be cleared, he would win Mombasa. He had already been branded an outsider. He would only make an impact if he would then go to support Omar Hassan. But if Sonko was going to vie, and Sonko huku, Omar Hassan huku, and Mswama huku, I don't think he will be in a position to cut that niche and go through. And that was a very good strategy, because already the state had already blocked it intentionally. But this move to go to Mombasa was also a sign of reprieve to Kalonzo, because Sonko had two options. Either he goes to Machakos or he goes to Mombasa. If the president was to give Sonko the two choices, maybe he would have chosen Machakos. But because he was under Kalonzo, and then he had trusted Kalonzo because Kalonzo negotiated for, mediated reconciliation between him and President Uhuru Kenyatta, there was no way he could go against Kalonzo. And Kalonzo used that opportunity to make sure that he pushes Sonko out of the Machakos race. Because Sonko going to that race was going to complicate issues, one, for Vinyandeti. And I think that is something that they would have seen. And I know Mike Sonko going to the Kamba region and now going there to vie for governor, even though he would still stand a chance to win, but there is something you can see that he will converge with the opponents. Actually, he will still go to Machakos and vie with Mudama, or rather look for the UDA ticket with Mudama. Ruto plays the dirty business and gives Mike Sonko the ticket. If Sonko is given the ticket, maybe in Machakos, he was going to give Kalonzo Musyoka a headache. So this was a very key strategy. First, it was to lock him out of Ukambani, because if he will go to Ukambani, he will again sway votes. Secondly, was to lock him totally out of Nairobi and to set him for that rejection. I don't know what you think, but I want to read comments here on the fate of Sonko.